I'm joined today. It is 1:27 p.m. local time by Tensei Joran de Bruin, who is a talented musician formerly from Amsterdam, who emphasizes rock and
Still from Amsterdam,
oh,
but
a
sorry.
different place from
Go on.
Amsterdam. Fair enough. No, who emphasizes rock and metal in his songs with a notable flair for the electric guitar. He is well known as a long-standing member of the Homestuck music team, responsible for composing Strife, which is, quote, one of the most recommended listens, unquote, in Homestuck's vast collection. He also has two other albums uploaded on Bandcamp, as well as a litany of tracks on SoundCloud and YouTube. I've known him for several years now through our associations on the Homestuck Discord, where your sense of humor has delighted as often as it has taken me off guard. Tensei, thank you for agreeing to speak with me today, man.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll just, get right into it. How'd you get started with making music?
Ooh, wow, we're gonna have to go back a really long time for that. So, let's go with music in general, basically, right? So, my mom is kind of a musician. She plays piano, but more as a hobby, basically. And she had like kind of this idea when me and my sister were very young, like to just kind of force us to go to a music school to like. There was this kind of like preschool program for children like 4 to 5 years old that could get started at like a music school where they could do like mess around on xylophones and stuff like that. I was very annoyed that I had to go there as a child, I remember, but in the end, of course, I'm grateful that I could start on like developing my musical skills that early.
Yeah, of course.
That's definitely still paying off, yeah.
It gives you a head start and everything.
Exactly, yeah. It's basically one of those things like if you have perfect pitch, which is like both genetic, but it's also something that you have to actively develop. Like that's the place where it would get discovered and actually developed, right? So unfortunately, I wasn't genetically blessed with perfect pitch, but just that kind of place, like for children with some musical inclination, probably.
Yeah, sure.
So from that, I kind of transitioned to like at a certain point you get to kind of look around and pick what you want your instruments to be. And so for me that ended up being classical guitar because while they didn't offer electric guitar to 5-year-olds at the time. And as for how I got my interest in guitar in general, I gotta say it has to be some kind of Jimi Hendrix video that I watched as a child or something that I was very fascinated by. Like, I remember he played with his teeth, which is still something I can't do. I don't even understand the mechanics of how you would like pick strings with your teeth like accurately at all.
Yeah, that's insane. Because like I'm not very musically inclined, I think I've mentioned, but people playing the guitar in unconventional ways. I know of Van Halen. Well, not unconventional, but he had like the double pick or something. I have no idea, but
the tapping.
Yes.
Or you mean?
Yes, tapping.
Yeah.
And then there was the guy from AC/DC who plays with one hand. That's all I know. But playing with your teeth, that's crazy. That's I can go on. Sorry.
He was like Jimi Hendrix. He's like the first prototypical rock star, like the real. He really kind of showed off. I mean, you had Chuck Berry with like the duck walk and things like that, but Jimi Hendrix really took it like to the next level with playing behind his back, like playing with his teeth, like and his basic guitar. It was like an upside down Stratocaster with the strings upside down as well because he was left-handed, but he taught himself to play on a right-handed guitar that he strung upside down. So just a complete, unique, and insane way to play a guitar. But yeah.
And then he's got like these showboating tendencies. That's honestly really funny. But
exactly.
That's perfect because the next question I had for you was who would you consider to be a critical inspiration for your work? It sounds like Jimi Hendrix is one of them at least.
Yeah. For sure. But I mean, I wouldn't say Jimi Hendrix is like very present in the the kind of music that I compose. But yeah, like let's skip ahead a few years on that one. So basically around I'm gonna dox my own age now, but like I was around 13, 14, around in the early 2000s, and I got like really into the older SNES RPGs. Like I never had an SNES myself, but at that point, like the emulators, they got just good enough that like on a quite a shitty PC, you could play like all those classic SNES games. So I got really into things like the 2D Final Fantasies, the Chrono Triggers, and things like that, which have fucking amazing soundtracks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you just kind of take like from a bunch of different groups of music as far as that's concerned. I mean, that makes sense. In preparing for this, I had actually re-listened to all of the albums that you have on Bandcamp last night, and I was kind of struck with the variety in your sound. Like Game or Die from Strife 2 incorporates like chiptune music all over the place, and then of course you got all the guitar and more conventional instrumentation. So that makes perfect sense to me. But I guess
I can talk about that a bit because I always figured. Well, look, let's skip ahead a bit. So I was talking, like, I got really into the video game music, and through fucking LimeWire, if you remember that, or is it before your time?
Unfortunately, I do remember LimeWire.
Okay, so on LimeWire, I was downloading video game music, and I came across something called OC Remix. Which was this website. I think they're still around, but they were like this community of people that did a very like specific type of video game remixes. Like they had some fairly strict stipulations on how much original versus how much arranged material should be in that. And I got really interested in that community, and that's kind of the point at which I decided, well, I want to start composing my own music, because what these people are doing is awesome. I also want to make like, Chrono Trigger remixes and whatnot. So that's kind of how I stumbled into that whole thing, like the actual digital composition stuff.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense. Because I mean, I'm into chiptunes generally, and when I was younger, I tried to dabble with like FamiTracker and stuff, and ended up making like covers of kind of like classical arrangements or Baroque music, because that was the easiest to just look up sheet music for and everything. But I never really took it into original well, a little bit, but that's embarrassing. I won't get into it. But yes, I actually was curious about your creative process then, because you said you were in this community full of people who were sort of making remixes and everything. Do you continue with that now, or do you prefer to make more original stuff?
It's a bit of both, right? I would say since that's where I got my start, it's still like a really strong part of basically my songwriting DNA and my process, I would say. Also, maybe interesting to mention that website, OC Remix, it's very obscure, but to this day, whenever I play a video game, very often I will see like a composer list that was just a random guy on that website remixing at some point. Like it's very interesting. Yeah.
So they're still kicking it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, even Toby Fox, he was active for a while on there as well. I think he did like 1 or 2 remixes. He submitted them. I don't know if he had any posts on there, but just it was this kind of like unique point in time where a lot of these people that would go on to eventually be like kind of big hitters in the video game music community, they kind of came together and they made like very, like kind of small scale remixes of songs they liked.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's.
So yeah, I feel like I'm going on tangents a lot here.
No. You're hey, it's whatever you want to talk about, man.
Okay, yeah.
I had no idea this place even existed, but I guess I'm gonna have to take a look now. Yeah, so I guess I did have a follow-up question for this. That's why my mind is blanking. Do you have any music or other media that you'd recommend specifically to fans of your own work?
Ooh, I would say for sure how do you even pronounce it? The YS series, YS. It's a action JRPG series, and they're kind of famous for having this like rather than having a composer, they just basically have this rock band that does music for them. And I think if you listen to their music, you're definitely gonna recognize like where I get some of my inspirations from in, for example, Strife and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. That's a pretty solid recommendation. I've heard of this before, but I have never actually looked into it myself. I'm gonna have to now. But
I'm gonna be honest, the games themselves aren't that great, but like the soundtracks, they blow me away.
Hey, sure. I mean, sometimes music makes the game. So
yeah.
All right. Next thing, without going into too much detail, perhaps in past discussions you've mentioned that you have a career outside of music making. But
Mhm.
that aside, is music still an important aspect of your life today, whether professionally or as a hobby?
Yes, absolutely. In both regards, I would say at this point still.
Okay, so you're still like
I mean,
actively making music.
absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Um, we're well. I'm kind of in a transitional period right now because I moved to a new apartment, but there's also some things I won't be able to mention because of NDAs. Take from that whatever implication you want.
Right, right.
But other than that, yeah, I've been messing around with like some personal work in progress stuff. I've been posting it around here and there. I know my output has slowed a bit. I know, especially since like, the heydays of actual Homestuck music and stuff. But yeah, that's because I also work like a full-time job alongside other things. So
Hey,
in that regard, yeah.
I can totally understand that. It just drags everything else down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking at your Bandcamp
Mm.
before, again, doing my research or whatever before we started, and it looks like you have Suburban Summer from 3 years ago on there. You also not reblogged but back 5 times like this. So yeah, I don't know, but it's exciting to know that you have stuff in the pipeline. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just have to look
Um,
forward to that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes, you can't talk about it. More than understandable. Is there anyone you'd consider collabing with in music in the future? Well, I'm just getting in my own head because you already mentioned that you are actively working on music. So, all right.
Yeah. If you're talking about like hypothetically, who would I want to collab with? I think I had some ideas like playing around for a vocal song for some vocal music, and kind of the straightforward where my mind will go then is, well, hey, maybe I can do something with Michael Guy Bowman.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that would be a thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure he would love to
um,
work with you.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked in the past. At least I cameoed on one of his albums. It was very fun to do. I think it was a perfectly fun collaboration to do as well. So I'm definitely up for doing something like that in the future again. But yeah.
Right. And okay. And that brings me, I guess, to the next question. I and others who talk with you more often tend to associate you with, Strife and Strife 2,
Mhm.
although your other album, Songs Unsung, is pretty good too.
Mm.
Uh, when I see your name come up in the wider Homestuck fandom, it's often, about stuff like Elevator Stuck or especially Air of Grief and your guitar work more generally.
Mm.
Do you have any strong feelings about people associating you with these in particular?
I mean, you make your bed, you lie in it, right? So, I mean, I love making guitar-based songs, so I'm not gonna blame people for mostly associating me with that. I'm surprised that Elevator Stock is as popular as it was. I guess part of it is how it got used in the comic, especially in Act 6. But just in general, yeah, I think it's funny that people like that song that much.
Yeah, I mean, Air of Grief is on Songs Unsung, so I listened to it again last night, and I mean,
Mm,
it's beautifully mixed and everything. So
mm.
I can see why people like it as much as they do. Elevator Stuck a bit more of a mystery, but sometimes the simplest stuff works the best. So
I mean, so that's kind of another other thing I would say that's I'm not gonna call it my specialty, but it's something I like to do. It's what's known as a pastiche. That's the correct term. People often call it a parody, but the term is a pastiche. And a pastiche is basically like you basically try to perfectly emulate a certain very specific style of song. So I did that with Elevator Stock for, like generic elevator music. But I've also tried to do it with, for example, the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack for God, what was the song name? She's a Spider, I think, on Alternia Bound.
yeah, yeah.
Which I kind of just tried to do the whole Hans Zimmer, he's a pirate type epic Pirates of the Caribbean song. Yeah.
No, no, I mean it works well. I guess I always got that impression from she's a spider. She's a pirate,
Hmm.
rather. So
Then great.
yeah, no,
It worked.
it worked out. Yeah. I guess in asking the original question, I'm curious: is there work you've done that you wish people talked about more often, perhaps?
Ooh. Maybe more broadly. Personally, I think Strive 2 is much better in terms of production, and I think some songs are straight up better than a lot of the Strive 1 songs. But I also understand that there is just this whole association with Homestuck at its peak when Strive 1 came out. All these people have very fond memories of these songs because they came out at like a, I don't know, nostalgic period in their life. So I can understand that even if something that I feel is qualitatively better, like Strive 2, I can understand that people prefer the original. But yeah, I wish they listened more to the follow-up as well.
Like songs from Strife 2 as well, because I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them on there that I quite like. As like I said, I've listened to it last night in preparation for this, and you know, it's songs like Rouge on the Rocks and stuff. You've got that kind of peppy, almost jazzy feeling. It's quite good. Like I feel like it deserves to be talked about more often, probably.
Yeah, I suppose, but also it didn't really have the benefit of like getting the whole Homestuck marketing boost. So yeah, it makes sense to me that it doesn't have as many views and listens as the original. But yeah, still.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess that's just the eternal struggle of being an artist, you know, trying to get exposure for your stuff. Well, either way, we did mention Michael Bowman earlier, and so recently, last year, you helped him get in contact with other members of the Homestuck music team.
Yeah.
In order to make it easier to discuss the situation with ownership and royalties. It sounds like you were instrumental to that effort. Do you still enjoy associations with other members of the music team? Like Michael's obvious, but
yeah.
Is there anyone in particular you really like?
I never got super close to any particular person on the music team, I would say, but I don't think we also ever had like a super negative experience or something. I mean, there's always been a bit of back and forth, like with creative differences, but we never had like drama or something. I always considered these guys as like, you know, kind of a part of your life at some point that you worked together with for a few years and had some good times with. So I can't really single anyone out, but I would just say in general, I quite like everyone that's been on the Homestuck music team.
Yeah, that's
barring, you know, people that got cancelled for one or
oh Jesus,
for a number of, one of many reasons.
Yeah, that's a whole can of worms. Maybe we won't get into that, but
yeah.
No, that's fair. Yeah, and I guess as an extension of that, the Homestuck pilot, you know, released back in September. There's been a lot of discussion about whether it's been picked up or is otherwise being worked on. I guess I'll offer you the same question I gave to Michael. If you had the chance to work on it, would you like to?
Sure, but yeah, with the caveats, of course.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I can expand on that answer a little bit. So purely creatively, I think they did the right thing by having like one composer, like one score writer for the pilot. I personally don't think it would work to be like, hey, let's bring back the whole music team and have them write a number of songs that stylistically don't match and that don't necessarily like are syncable to the storyboards and stuff like that. So from that perspective, I would be okay with licensing my music. I would be okay with someone arranging it to make it fit the score. I'm about 50-50 on whether I would actually like write something specific for it. But if it came up, yeah, I might.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's a completely different medium, you know, like with a webcomic, it makes a lot more sense to have a selection that you can pick various tracks from, but you can't really do the same thing with a cohesive production like a show.
Yeah.
So, no, that makes complete sense. I guess, how do you feel about Homestuck being picked up as a show in the first place? Like, do you feel like that's a good direction for the property to go in?
That's such a tough one. Well, no, it's not a tough one. I would say it's all in the execution, right? Like, I thought the pilot was okay. It had some nice points to it, I would say. It doesn't fully inspire me with confidence that it would lead to a series that I would enjoy watching on its own merits. But for all I know, the actual series could be very different. They would probably have like longer episode durations, so the pacing could be spaced out a little bit more.
Right.
Things like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super cynical about it. Let's put it that way. I could see it working.
It's complex. It's complicated. I think that's a really good answer, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
the devil's in the details, like you said.
Mm.
So I guess it depends on how they execute everything. But I guess we'll just say fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from Homestuck then. Are there any other projects of yours, musical or no, that you would like fans to look into?
Not at this time. At least not that I can reveal. I mean, I have things in the works, but nothing to show off at this point, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
No, that's completely fair. You can't talk about it, man.
Yeah.
But you're still involved with music in general. So, like, both as a professional and a personal thing. I guess. What would you like to see yourself accomplishing musically once all is said and done? Like, do you have any like greater ambitions for yourself in this regard?
Wouldn't say greater. Well, maybe something like composing a full video game soundtrack at one point would be my dream.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes total sense considering how you got into it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You go full circle. Yeah.
Well, sometimes I think to myself, I'm going to make a video game one of these days, so maybe I'll contract you to make the soundtrack for it. We'll have to see.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'll have to actually get off my ass for that, but we'll see. I guess any projects which aren't by you that you'd still like people to check out? I guess this is related to the question from before, but still.
Ooh. Basically asking me for my shill list at this point.
Yeah, why not?
It's hard to say. I've been a bit tuned out when it comes to actual like kind of fan level projects. I mean, I've been mostly wasting a bit of time with playing more video games like Subnautica 2 or whatever that just came out, but not necessarily something where I feel like, well, I need to support this indie creator, so I better signal boost them or something like that. So
right. Well, is Subnautica 2 good? I haven't looked into it at all.
Well, yeah, I would say it's very good, but it's early access, so you might as well wait, for the full release.
I was actually quite confused about this because they had that Below Zero thing that came out.
Yeah.
That's not Subnautica 2? That's like a whole different thing, or?
That's like a standalone expansion. I think it was meant to be DLC for the first game at first, and then they made it its own thing, and it's not very good.
No, okay, yeah, because I had played it when it was in early access, and there was a lot of problems with it. This is getting into the weeds. I don't know why I'm asking, but
I mean, I'm happy to talk about games as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time you have, but
we were only 25 minutes in. I could go for a hot minute, but that's, I guess. All right. That aside, the last direct question that I have for you is. Okay, as a bit of a preamble, there was a sort of joke concerning you which floated around for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
At the risk of reopening an old wound, the so-called Noir album was a future musical endeavor you described in your Indiegogo campaign for Strife 2.
Yes.
Despite much mockery, the Noir album seems never to have materialized. Do you have any comment on its status, or would you prefer to put it to rest?
I could be really cryptic right now, but I shouldn't be. No,
Ooh.
I mean, I've completed a few songs for it, but it's not really in a state where I would say this is worth releasing. And also, I figured I could roll it into a bigger project that I would release to the same people that backed that Kickstarter at one point. So it's kind of a thing like where I'll try to compensate for my tardiness by trying to give a lot more, but we will see how that pans out. So that's kind of my answer.
Kind of a feedback loop at this point, unfortunately. But so what you're saying is that there's still hope. That's great.
There's still hope, yeah.
All right. Well, that's very exciting. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't back it. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but I am still very excited for the eventual release of the Noir album for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I've got for specific questions. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss in general?
I mean, should we go into the Homestuck Discord a bit? Because I kind of feel like that should be a topic as well, or since I've been on for a decade at this point, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of an integral part of my history and interactions with the Homestuck fandom. So yeah, maybe worth talking about a bit as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay, where should we start then? Like, how you've been there. You were there in the very early days, like
Yeah.
even before even I joined, and I was a pretty
Mm.
old head as well.
Yeah, so the way I joined, God, how did it happen again? I think at one point, Macon or someone else kind of managed to get a hold of a bunch of the Homestuck music team people and got them to join the Discord, kind of like an impromptu interview or ask me anything type of deal. And I kind of just stuck around, I guess.
Oh yeah, because well, I was going to say other people like Jit were on there as well. You know.
Yeah, that's true. At that point, of course, the Homestuck Discord was very different from how we remember it now. And I know I was mostly in the general chat at that point, but I guess something about the vibe kind of stuck with me that made me want to hang around. I personally, I'm not really into the whole, like the hero worship of creators, which leads to, I believe it leads to like a lot of potentially problematic issues. So for me, when I see someone say like, "It's Tensei, wow, it's the guy that made Air of Grief" or whatever, my instinct is to just try to be super casual about it and like kind of get down into the dumps and just like be one of the guys, and I'm not that special,
Yeah.
So it was kind of maybe with that mentality that I stuck around a bit, that I just wanted to be, hey, I'm just like a regular guy, like whatever. I made some songs, but
No, that definitely fits with what I remember of talking to you back in the early days. I mean, I was guilty of the same thing where this is embarrassing as hell, but I remember one of the first times I talked to you directly. I have mentioned this elsewhere because I was still dabbling with Famitracker at that point, and I had offered like, hey, if you want like a chiptune sample or something, just ask. And you were like, haha, okay, and just never said anything about it again. And now looking back, it was like painfully awkward. But
I mean, I appreciate the offer. Maybe I didn't read it, or maybe I didn't didn't remember. But sure, that's nice that you offered back then.
I mean, but like you said, you played it off. You were just like, whatever. So I think that was
Yeah.
kind of integral to helping me understand what kind of space it was as well. It's not like it's not a dick sucking contest. It's for people to talk to each other on a more casual, grounded basis, which is
Yeah.
I think that's great. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think you need kind of that level of irreverence that the Homestuck Discord has within certain boundaries, of course. But yeah, it's just good to be able to shoot the shit and maybe like not have to watch your P's and Q's all that much on occasion.
Well, it adds dimension to people, like I mean, especially for people who have work to their name already. Like, that was what 2016, 2017, the interaction I described when Homestuck's popularity was still like pretty like relatively high. It wasn't great like back in 2012 or whatever. But that interaction is one of several I can think of where you have this realization that the people you're talking to are just people at the end of the day, and there's nothing super grandiose or mystical about them. And I agree completely in the sense of hero worship is not really something that I'm into. So, in that respect, I completely agree with you that having that space oriented around more casual discussion is just, it's integral. It's good to have that.
Yeah, I agree. And well, yeah, like I said, for me, it was kind of, I would say, almost a deliberate move. Like, get into some shit posting and like stupid arguments and just like kind of roll around in the slop, I would say.
Roll around in the slop. Yes, yeah. There was a lot of slop. I can tell you that over the years.
2016, 2017, that was insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God. Now we're getting into general Homestuck Discord history, I guess. But yeah, I mean, those first 2 years were insane, especially with restructuring and all that. But no, and then it hit kind of a balance there, and it was. I don't know. It's just nice to know that people like you were sticking around there and talking. Like I had mentioned Jit earlier, and there was a couple other musicians. Michael didn't show up as often, I think, but Who else was there? Do you remember?
I think like in the initial invasion, let's call it that. I think Callie might have been there as well.
Yes, Kelly. Yeah.
Maybe RJ. I'm not sure at this point anymore. But anyway, almost nobody stuck around except me, I think. So there you
Yeah,
go.
RJ left. Callie was there for a while, but then I think after 2018 or so, she dipped out. So, or they, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and now of course we've got the new server, which is, I actually think it's been kind of nicer in a way. It feels a little bit less overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean the smaller user base, probably some more saner rules. I think it's been to its benefit.
Saner rules, yeah. I mean, because you and I think we have kind of a ribald sense of humor, but it's probably for the best in a public-facing capacity to be a bit more restrained, you know?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, what else can you say about that?
Yeah,
without getting into the details of everything.
yeah. Well, all right. I guess it's probably getting pretty late over there, and I don't want to take up too much of your time as is.
All right.
But I guess one more last call for any closing questions. You want to plug your music at all, or are you good?
I'm good for really. I should have done this like in a year or something, so I would have way more material to plug probably. But sure, check me out on Spotify under Tensei Music or on YouTube, I guess. I'm really bad at keeping my socials updated in that sense. It took convincing for me to put my music on Spotify, but ultimately it's been worth it, I would say. So, anyway.
No, and hey, there's nothing saying we can't do another interview in a year when stuff has actually happened. You know, that's
Yeah, maybe I'll go on like a little marketing tour or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Well,
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much
Yeah.
for interviewing with me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man.